I'd like to thank Surfshark for sponsoring today's video. Hi everybody, this is Nate from The Kraemer Life.
And Katie.
Also from The Kraemer Life.
Today we are going to take you through our September update. It's pretty late, but we thought we'd walk you through all of the projects that we worked on in September and just kind of give a brief overview of all of that.
I have two questions for you, and they're kind of strange. First question is, would you go into town without your clothes on? Probably not. Okay. Second question, would you write all of your personal information, like your name and your social security number, or your bank account information, on a piece of paper and leave it out on the street for anybody to see? Definitely not. And why wouldn't you do those two things? Because that type of stuff is private to you, right? And you don't want just anybody seeing that type of stuff. Actually, one more question. Do you use the internet? Yes? Then you should be using a VPN, and more specifically, Surfshark VPN. Surfshark VPN helps keep your online activities safe and away from prying eyes. It does this by masking what you do online and keeping bad actors from being able to snoop on your activities. So you may be wondering, what qualifies me to talk about Surfshark VPN and internet security? What you may not know is that before I turned homesteader, I was an IT professional for 30 years. In the last 10 years of my IT career, I was the Chief Technology Officer and Chief Information Security Officer for a multi-billion-dollar company that held financial and personal data for thousands of individuals. And it was my job to ensure that the company's IT infrastructure was operational 24/7 and that all of that personal and financial data that we held was safe and secure. So there are many reasons to use Surfshark VPN, and I want to talk about 4 of them. So the first reason is that it masks your online activity from prying eyes, from bad actors, and from your internet service provider. I read through Surfshark VPN's privacy policy and found out that they are based out of the Netherlands, which is a country that doesn't have data collection laws. So they're not forced to collect this type of information about you. In fact, their privacy policy specifically states that they do not collect any information that would lead them to know what you do online. So the second reason that I like to use Surfshark VPN is to make sure that my internet session is secure when connected to public Wi-Fi. The third reason I like to use Surfshark VPN is for their product called Surfshark Alert. When you visit a website, Surfshark Alert will let you know if that website has ever had a security breach. In fact, it can monitor your data and alert you if your personal information has ever been part of a security breach. And last but not least, their search feature. With Surfshark Search, when you search for something online, you're not given biased information based on your previous search history, and you get true organic search results. So if you wouldn't put your personal information or bank account information on a piece of paper out in the street for somebody to see, I highly suggest you secure your internet sessions with Surfshark VPN. Visit Surfshark VPN at surfshark.deals/Kraemer and enter promo code Kraemer for 83% off and 3 extra months for free.
So with that, let's get started. It's like my favorite thing to say.
Yeah, well, you know, that's the way it goes.
So we started by taking out the kitchen cabinets, and then Nate really went to work.
Yeah, so I removed the drywall because we wanted to ensure that there wasn't any mold behind the drywall, because one of the walls it was outside facing and it was facing the bathroom. And so a lot of potential for moisture in that area. And so removing the drywall to make sure that there wasn't any mold behind it. And thankfully, there really wasn't. There was a little bit around the window, but
very minimal.
Very, very minimal, yeah.
Not what we expected. We were expecting to open it and just be disgusted with mold, so.
Yeah, and originally I thought I was gonna do the wall that's between the library and the kitchen. I thought I was just gonna do just a minimal portion just to check to see if there was any mold back there and not do a whole bunch of removal, but then I was like, I'll just remove the whole thing. So I ended up gutting the entire kitchen.
Yeah, pretty much. And then after we took all the drywall and the cabinets were out, we knew there was issues with the floor. There was an existing hole in the floor that we knew we were gonna have to repair, and then we wanted to kind of cut into it to see what was going on, and I think we started to see more issues than we anticipated with the floor.
Right. It turned out to be a 4-foot by 8-foot section that was just really bad with with rot.
Yeah.
And it was quite the project. Like first of all, I had never done subfloor removal before, but this one was a little bit more complicated because the floors in the house altogether are just not level.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't just a simple case of cutting out the bad subfloor and plopping in some new subfloor. Had to put in bracing between the floor joists and try to make it match up to the rest of the floor that I hadn't cut out. So it was complicated.
Yeah.
It took me a long time to do that. And then did we do the same thing with the corner where the sink was?
We started to, and then realized it was much worse than, so we just did a quick patch on that, and there's still additional work I think that you have.
Right, no, there is, I just wasn't, yeah. So we
Yeah.
did that in Sept, that's right, because we had to do that before we had
pig
the pig processing, which we did. Yeah, okay.
Yep. And then we continued with house renovations, and there's a lot of issues with the old copper piping. Some of it was super brittle, just falling apart at the joints. And we wanted to convert to PEX, so we went ahead and Nate started doing that as well.
There's two main reasons that we wanted to convert to PEX. Katie touched on one of them. Some of the copper piping was bad, brittle. But also the main line coming into the house is copper piping, and it's a 1/2 inch line, and you're really supposed to have 3/4 inch line coming in from the city connection because we have city water here. And I wanted to upgrade that. And I've never ran copper piping. It seems a lot more difficult than running the pretty flexible PEX. So I thought, let's just convert to PEX since we have to replace the copper piping anyway with thicker pipe. I first started just converting a small section of it over to the washer and dryer, just to kind of play around and see how easy it was. And it turns out it was pretty simple. So then I took the next step and converted the main from the city in the house to 3/4 inch PEX, and actually ran it over to the hot water heater, put in the valve that's supposed to be there so you can turn off water to the hot water heater, and and started the proper conversion to PEX at that point. So the whole house right now isn't converted to PEX, but by the time that we're done with the bathrooms, we will have all the house in PEX and the copper lines removed. There was an issue with removing some of the copper lines, and that's because currently the copper lines are being used as ground. For where I cut the copper pipes, I had to run some grounding rod between those cut pipes, otherwise that would have broken the continuity of the ground, which would have been not good for our electrical system. So it was a little bit more complex than I wanted it to be, but I learned a lot, and yeah, story of this house. Story of this house.
So many lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah, then we continued some demolition and we moved on to the bathrooms.
Yep, same story as the kitchen. We wanted to make sure there's no mold.
Yeah.
The bathroom in the hallway, I think we originally were thinking just tear out the, we were originally just thinking to tear out the wallpaper, or maybe even keep the wallpaper on if it could paint well. But as I was doing a little bit of tear out, I noticed some mold at right over by the bathtub, and that scared me, and that caused me to then just rip out all of the drywall. The leaves are falling. All of the drywall out of that bathroom, because I didn't want any mold ever to be left in the house, and so ripped it all out, took all of the insulation out. There are a few little areas, but nothing major, which makes us feel a lot better about the house in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then it was drywall's out.
Yep.
Might as well take out the tub insert because you didn't like the color.
Well, actually, I was planning on repainting it, so I wasn't upset with the color, but when I was looking at it, it was one of the tubs that was only approximately this deep. So what would happen is you never really could take, it wasn't a soaking tub. And so for me, if you're gonna have a tub in the house, I want to be able to enjoy the tub in the bath and be able to fully soak. So at that point was when I asked if you could take it out.
Yeah. And I was under the impression that I'd just be able to unscrew it from the wall, take the plumbing out, and then just slide it through the door.
No.
Nope. That was not the case. So had to cut it in half.
We also did some projects outside as well. So in September, we also installed a solar light above the carport because it was starting to get dark earlier and we didn't have any outdoor lighting. We chose solar because we don't have any electrical outlets or electric even running to the carport. And so this was an easy solution for us. And it lights up a nice large area, so it lights up actually all the way to this porch over here, this deck, and all of where we're, basically that whole front area, the main driveway. The weather really changed in September, so we really started walking and enjoying the property a little bit more because it wasn't as hot, the weather started cooling, and also we had been working so hard on the property and on the upgrades that we wanted to start just taking walks and exploring the land a little bit more. And with that, we found a lot of free food. We ended up coming across and realizing we had chestnut trees, we have black walnut trees, and we have persimmon trees. So those are the three edible trees that we found so far on the property, and we've had quite a few of those.
It's actually Ben is the one that showed us that we had chestnuts here, right? Because when they were out here for pig processing, which we'll talk about here in a bit, he was walking up and down the driveway and picking up the chestnuts and super excited about it.
And we were like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So then it wasn't much longer after, it was like a week after we were done with pig processing, the chestnut trees really started dropping their chestnuts, and we got probably 5-gallon buckets worth of chestnuts that we ended up feeding to the pigs.
Yep.
We did try roasting the chestnuts and eating it ourselves.
Not
really
our favorite nut.
Not our thing. So the piggies got all of it, and they loved.
Dogs also loved them.
Oh, that's right. Because I would go down there in the morning, and when I fed the pigs, I would take 5 or 10 minutes and fill up two of my front 2 pockets worth of chestnuts. And as I'm doing that, the dogs are also eating the chestnuts off of the ground. So that was really cute. And then I did the same thing in the evening.
Yep.
So that was really cute.
Yep.
And then we found out that we had black walnuts when we were, like Katie said, wandering the property. And the black walnuts actually were still in their husks, and there was the black walnut husk fly, I think it's called, that had laid their larvae in it. And so I ended up taking a bunch of black walnut husks with the larvae in it, feeding it to the chickens, and the chickens loved the larvae. They would tear it all apart, eat the larvae out of it, and then I was left with the black walnut in its shell, which I would take over to the pigs, and they would use their really powerful mouths and jaws and teeth to crush it and eat the walnut out of it. So I thought that was really cool.
We left a lot on the ground too because we have lots of squirrels and other nature and wildlife here on the property, so we did leave quite a bit.
Yeah, and as we've explored even more of the property, there's just
a lot more trees than we thought.
They're all over.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really there's a plentiful of them.
A plentiful.
A plentiful. Yes.
All right, and then the persimmons. The dogs love the persimmons.
Yeah, I don't know how to ripen the persimmons. I don't know when to pick them. We don't know at this point in time. However, the dogs do, because when it falls on the ground, they don't care if it's mushy. They don't care if it's a little fermented. Like they love it. So in fact, if Kinsley goes missing, we know exactly where she goes, because there's a persimmon tree 100 yards from the house, and she just goes there and she just eats all the persimmons off the ground.
Yep. Whenever we're walking, they'll disappear. They'll bolt for that first and try to eat around it, and then we'll call them, and then they'll come.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see that we have edible trees on the property. So.
Yeah, and one of probably the biggest things on the homestead so far, we processed 2 of our meat pigs, and had some friends over to help us with that, show us some new techniques. and we're able to fill up our freezer completely full. And that was something that, you know, I don't think we ever thought within our first year, let alone under 6 months, we would already be able to do that. So that was definitely a blessing, and we're very thankful for that. And we wanted to use as much of the pigs as possible. So we made bone broth out of all of the bones. We did keep the heads, and we'll smoke the ears and the snouts for the dogs. Also get all the cheek meat and everything out for us. And then as well as feeding the guts and whatnot, put it in the compost and let the larvae and things that as it decomposes, the chickens are able to eat that as well. So we really did want to do as minimal to little to no waste as possible, because it was really important for us, if we are going to process an animal, that we utilize as much as we possibly can. So
yeah, it was my fourth time processing pigs, and we had Billy and William from Perma Pastures out, the haulers come out, and then Sean, like, that, he had no fear. He showed up and he didn't even put his gloves on. He's like, all right, what can I do? And he comes and greets you, and he's like blood spatter on his face. And yeah, it was cool. It was a really good day. We got.
And then also Justin from Metcalf Mills.
Oh, that's right. Yes, with his skinning
technique.
Yes,
yeah.
That was super cool. Yeah, I didn't mean to leave out Justin, but that was super cool because he's so quiet.
Yeah.
You know, he's just over there just kind of doing his thing. He's like, yeah, you know.
And then he's like, whoa.
He's like, you know, there's kind of a better way that I do it, but you know, we can do it your way. And we're like, well, show us, Justin, what you got. We're like, whoa, that was super cool. So now it's the way to skin pigs now.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, Justin, why didn't you say something sooner? I don't know.
So yeah, that was our September.
That was busy.
Yep.
That was a busy September. It's so funny because you just kind of go day by day and you just do stuff, and I'm always like, I'm not doing enough. There's always more things to do. I gotta, I don't know, wake up earlier, go to bed later. Who knows? I just like, and then we do a review, and I'm like, okay,
we've done a lot.
We've done a lot. And then when I realize, oh, it's only been 5 months on the property.
Yep. We did not. It took us a while to find land, but once we got here, we wasted no time.
Yeah, apparently.
Just getting started. Yeah. So that was kind of our update. We do have a few thank yous and gifts to share that we wanted to go through as well.
All right. What do we have here?
We just wanted to take a moment and say thank you so much to the gifts that were sent to us. Susan, thank you so much. She sent us some great gifts. So we got this little paint tray.
Yeah, this is the AccuBrush paint tray. They make a paintbrush that we're going to be getting that makes painting around trim when you're painting your house much easier.
And then some gloves.
Yep. We use these all the time.
Yes.
So we needed a refill. Perfect timing.
Yes. And then for the animals, we got some hoof trimming.
Oh, is that what these are?
Yep, those are to trim the sheep's hooves. We hadn't really anticipated keeping the sheep's long term. I think originally we thought they would be processed. But we're pretty sure 2 of the 4 are pregnant, so we will be keeping them over winter. And so we need something to trim their hooves with. And then a couple dog toys. So we got the fetch stick and also the the fire hose. A little bit more durability. Wanted something for Winston and also Kinsley. They both love to play with items like that. So thank you so much for those, Susan. Really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you very much.
And then we also got in this box, it's a bathroom vessel sink. And it is upside down.
I'll get it.
So,
that is not light.
It is not light.
Oh, that's cool. Look at that.
So this is going to be part of the remodel. I'm going to be putting this into the main bathroom. And it did come with a faucet.
Oh, nice.
A black faucet, yeah. And so it does look like that.
Cool.
And so just thought it was really cool. It's going to sit obviously on top of a new cabinet that we're putting in there, and just thought it would give it kind of a fun little farmhouse feel. So very excited for that. We're not sure who sent it. It didn't come with a note, but thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Yes, very much. Very, very much.
So again, thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate it. We could not do this without you.
Nope.
And just want to continue to share our updates, how things are going on the homestead and what we've been up to. And there's so much more to come. October was even busier than September. So we're looking forward to sharing that in the next few weeks. So thank you so much.
See you later.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.